Huge fight this weekend at heavyweight, and I mean huge. We have the former super heavyweight Chris Barnett making his UFC debut, taking on big Ben Rothwell. Matt, for Ben Rothwell, I'm tired of talking about Ben Rothwell fighting Felipe Lins. He was supposed to fight him, what, a few months ago, then this month, and then all three of those fights fell out. Felipe Lins couldn't make the walk. So, who does the UFC call? Not Chris Barnett. They give the call to Ashkar Majarov. And I thought, oh, okay, I've seen this guy before. You know, big tattoos on his neck, big, strong guy. But if you look at Maskarov, he was supposed to fight Jordan Young with the PFL at 205. That was on short notice. He weighed in, then the fight fell through. And I thought, like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you make him fight at heavyweight? Why would he fight Ben Rothwell? This isn't the guy to give the call to. The guy to give the call to is a guy that Bleacher Report said in 2014 would be a guy to watch at heavyweight. And now we're 7 years later and Chris Barnett. And listen, this guy probably should have been in the UFC a long time ago. He's so much fun to watch. He throws spin kicks to the body. He'll throw head kicks. He throws spinning back fists. Like, this is one of the most athletic guys that you're going to find at 265 plus pounds. And that's the thing. So much fun to watch. And really,
you're talking about Ben Rothwell right now, right?
I'm talking about Chris Barnett. He's 5'9" and he's a heavyweight. And you'd think just to look at him, and I get the comparisons. They're out there on the internet. You've heard them said, but I'll say them anyway. He looks just like Mark Henry. He looks like the world's strongest man. Is he going to curl a frying pan on the way in? Probably not. But Chris Barnett, I love what he brings to the table. He comes out of Barnett's Taekwondo. If you go check out his Instagram, he has a lot of fun. I watched a video today where he sang Shania Twain in his car by himself on a roadie. So that's cool. Maybe it was weird on my part to watch it, but I do the deep dives for the people. But you look at the names that Chris Barnett was supposed to take on before his last fight, which was Ollie Thompson's coach at super heavyweight, where he knocked him out in the first round. He was supposed to fight Bigfoot Silva, Jack May, and Brett Martin. He's supposed to fight Martin for a title at the end of this month. Now he's coming in on short notice. Now for Martin, he's probably the next big thing at heavyweight. If you haven't heard of him on the regional scene, just wait, because he will be that guy. But Chris Barnett, I'm excited. I'm interested.
I never thought we were going to see Javi Ayala in the UFC, and this might be the closest we ever get, honestly, because Chris Barnett has that kind of athleticism, and that's the only other heavyweight who comes to mind where I'm like, wait, your body type can perform those types of athletic abilities? Because it is kind of deceiving.
It's like if Chris Farley was a fighter, it's Chris Barnett.
Like if he was the Beverly Hills Ninja, it would be great. Because Chris Barnett does bring a certain level of excitement that you don't really often have in the heavyweight division. He does bring that kind of Johnny Walker-ness to the heavyweights where it's like, okay, any fight, this guy can either get knocked out by throwing a spinning back fist and walking into a big shot, or could knock his opponent out by throwing a spinning back fist. And fighting a guy like Ben Rothwell, it'll be interesting, right? Because Ben Rothwell is either going to just try to extinguish that fire, hold you against the fence, and not do anything for 15 minutes, or he's going to emulate Dominic Cruz like Craig just did. He's going to have that really fun movement on the feet, he's going to pump out the jab, and he will play with you at range a little bit. So that's the really weird thing with Ben Rothwell. I'm curious to see what level of respect Ben Rothwell has to the power of Chris Barnett, because you have to think, Ben Rothwell's been in there with some of the greatest fighters of all time. He's fought the greatest of the greats, and he's not a guy who gets knocked out all that often. It's not like he's an Alistair Overeem where it's like, okay, when he loses, it's normally by TKO. This is a guy who's eaten some of the biggest shots from some of the biggest fighters in the world. Even go back to when he beat Overeem. Look at when he lost to JDS. Like, yes, he lost by decision, but this is a guy who is known of having one of the best chins in the heavyweight division, and that's why this matchup's so much fun, because he's going to have to test it against one of the more unique strikers that the UFC now has at heavyweight.
Ben Rothwell hasn't been knocked out since his UFC debut against Cain Velasquez at UFC 104 back in 2009. So it's been a while. Has he been finished since then? Yeah, Gonzaga subbed him, like you said. That's about it. Like, the guy doesn't really get finished. He has been in some boring fights as of recently. Ovince St. Preux wasn't really the best fight at 265 pounds. Marcin Tybura, it was more fun than I advertised it at, but Tybura looked pretty good in that one. And then the fight before, he fought Stefan Struve, where Dan Miragliotta kind of gave him benefit of the doubt with the cup shots, and we just kept fighting until Ben Rothwell finished him. But coming into this fight, again, you got ready for Lins. There was that weird episode of Embedded where Stipe was getting on the plane, and who happens to be on the plane? It's Ben Rothwell. And Stipe goes, hey man, who are you going to be fighting?
Cool.
And Ben Rothwell goes, Felipe Lins? Well, did he have to do that like it was like so Groundhog Day? Because it happened 3 times. And now we get this fight. And so Chris Barnett comes in here, and again, I hate to just keep tossing references, but it's just like that Billy Talent song. There's nothing to lose when no one knows what's your name? In a fight like this, where Barnett, nothing to lose. Ben Rothwell, he's not a ranked fighter anymore, but he's on the cusp, or he's thereabout. He's kind of like the ultimate gatekeeper. I know Arlovsky's kind of surpassed him for that title, but Ben Rothwell still in the mix. He's still the king of Kenosha. His wife just had their child.
Congrats.
The name is Odin, so that's kind of neat. They named the kid Odin. But yeah, Matt, I look at this fight, Ben Rothwell. If he's going to get the win, it's a classic Ben Rothwell fight. He's going to smother him. He's going to get him up against the cage. And for Chris Barnett, he's never been submitted in the past, and he's been on some big shows before, never been subbed. But maybe this is the first time. You never know.
Okay, I'm gonna have some pushback on that because Ben Rothwell's not really a wrestler. Like, when he gets submissions, if he has other guys are shooting on him, and he has good defensive submissions, but like, he's got that weird go-go choke that he gets under the chin, he's got great guillotines, but I don't look at Ben Rothwell as a guy who's gonna look at Chris Barnett and say, hey, I'm gonna automatically put wrestling shoes on and try to get this guy to rear naked choke. I think he's gonna wrestle him, don't get me wrong, but I don't just think the fact that Ben Rothwell's gonna use wrestling will automatically mean that he'll be searching for the submission because of it. But at the end of the day, do I think Ben Rothwell cannot get knocked out and make a fight boring? Well, yeah, I think Ben Rothwell's pretty much made a career at doing that, and that's kind of why I have to pick him in this fight. If Chris Barnett wins this, it's going to be all over Twitter. ESPN's going to retweet it 9 times, because this is going to be one of those, like, okay, probably not Showtime kicks, because I doubt the cage could hold up to him bouncing off it, but, you know, one of those crazy kind of historic highlights. But at the end of the day, I just think Ben Rothwell's ability to put out a fire is going to win him this fight. If he can use his pressure in a smart way, crash all that space, don't let Barnett use his kicks, I think Ben Rothwell can win another decision.
It's a tricky one because, I mean, you see the tape out there on Barnett. You see the names coming into this one. The last 5, Alexandru Lungo, Robert Neal over with Island Fights, Gun O Shim over with Road FC. He had a tough fight against Rashawn Jackson. There were some really weird positions. Like, Rashawn Jackson at one point had his back. Like, totally had his back. And then Jackson just jumps off. Like, it was a really weird one. His last time out against Ahmed Johnny, who, again, it was supposed to be Ollie Thompson originally. Thompson jumped out on really short notice, so his coach stepped in, and they had the fight at super heavyweight. But I do love everything I've seen out of Beast Boy coming into this one. But I like it, you know, do you go with the wild flashy pick, or do you go with the safe pick? I got to go with the safe pick in this one, too. Ben Rothwell open a minus 245 favorite. He's a minus 317 right now. For Barnett, open a plus 185. He's a plus 247 right now. If you look at the Tapology votes, not really close. 948, 81% Rothwell. 54% by knockout. For the 19% that have Barnett, 61% by knockout. Again, maybe there's a submission like the time he submitted Josh Barnett. But I have a tough time with it. I like Ben Rothwell in this one. If it's going to be I would have it by decision, maybe not by knockout, but I do love the fight. I'm so excited about this one.
Ben Rothwell ate clean overhands from JDS back when JDS was still pretty good. Like, he's just fought for the title of the fight after the Rothwell fight. So when JDS was still, maybe not peak JDS, but still a pretty good version of him, he lit him up like a Christmas tree. And Ben Rothwell still didn't get knocked out and went a hard 5 rounds with a guy like Junior Santos. That's why I have to go with Ben Rothwell. But like you said, it's kind of like the sexy pick of Chris Barnett, because it could be that crazy knockout that we're all going to be talking about. Or is it going to be one of those classic Ben Rothwell, like, hey, you're probably going to get a lot more clinch than you like in this fight. But yeah, I like Ben Rothwell.
Absolutely love the fight. We're both going with Milwaukee's own, Wisconsin's own, the King of Kenosha, Ben Rothwell. Absolutely love the fight. Big time card. Font taking on Garbrandt in the main event. So keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say.
Let's get into it.